Hi guys. I just want to, catch one point that I forgot to mention. That when you remember when I first said that the American legal system is very comprehensive. That actually means two things. Number one, that a lot of things, a lot of field, a lot of domains, a lot of interactions are governed by law. Um, but the other thing is that, detail oriented. The law, it's not just like an empty slogan. A lot of the Chinese laws are because you can't really tell the law and political slogan. That's not really the law. That you can't have a rule of law based on those slogans. Okay, so that's why when it comes to detail-oriented law, it's very important. Let me give you basically leaving no details out. More accurately, leaving no material details out. That's very important because in financial laws and regulations, we often talk about materials. For example, the security for people, doing the security professionals, they would leave no material details out. If it's immaterial, it's okay. But if it's material, you don't leave out. That's one thing to make the law very comprehensive. Now I've been talking about the abstract, but because a lot of ideas, a lot of thinking that I've been talking about is actually coming from reading the laws, reading the regulations. Basically, two domains. One is when I was studying the estate planning. Okay. And another one is like securities that I'm studying now. Those are the two best domains in legal studies because it really you see the beauty when you combine these two. Okay, I think the best law in this country is when it comes to financial issues. Okay, so that's why. Let me give you an example. Talking about estate planning. Okay, there's something like a simultaneous death act. When we talk about this, the best example, that coming to me is Gene Hackman, the Oscar. I believe he won some Oscar. He's a very, very famous movie actor. He died in his 90s, and then tragically, his wife, the Japanese American wife, died with him. So this is one of the best examples to show that sometimes you have very hard time to tell who dies first. Is that in this case Hackman died first or his wife died first? So there is the simultaneous death act. You know, they take the ambiguity out of it. They say if we cannot tell if the the couples, right, they die within 120 hours, basically 5 days, right? If they're dying, within 120 hours, then legally we just say that neither one of them survived the other. So in that way, we save a lot of trouble. Because otherwise, if say, for example, Gene Hackman says, if we say his Japanese American wife survived Gene Hackman, then everything, because usually the trust will say my spouse will be the taken over, right? All my properties will goes to my wife. But if that's not the case, if it turns out to be wrong, that later on we found out that Gene Hackman's wife dies before him. So that way, there's a huge legal mess, right? So the simultaneous that solved this problem. That's why we call it the bright line. Basically, there was ambiguity, but we decided to put some very bright line on the ground to say that this is it. And then we go by that bright line. Now that there's no ambiguity left. We want to eliminate the ambiguity. So that's why this is a very important point that for law to be comprehensive, it has to be covering a lot of a field, a lot of domains, but also it has to be detail oriented. That's why that's the beauty of it. Sometimes I'm asking myself. I said, rule of law means that we treat the law as the dictator. Well, then I just before I making this video, I checked the Google Gemini and said, "Can I say that?" The Gemini says it's not it's I can. The Gemini says that it's okay, but if you mean that let law be the dictator, mean that law above people, that's yes, but the law is just law. It is neutral. It's predictable, stability. For justice, not the. If you say law is the dictator, then create the impression that law is cruel. But the law is not. Okay, so to make the law the dictator, or to make the rule of law, you really make the law serious, detail, covering all the details, using a lot of bright line, to cover your ground. Okay,